Let me stop and applaud. That was incredible. The most significant result in world rugby since, I believe, the 2015 World Cup when Japan beat the Springboks.
We were either number 1 or 2 in the world from December 2003 until that semi-final loss to England in 2019. 16 years the All Blacks were 1 or 2 in the world. I don't think the Springboks have ever done that.
For his
you
top 4.
and other Warriors fans need to stop
Top
getting
4.
ahead of yourselves.
We're going to win 2 out of the next 3 games, at least.
Stop it.
Welcome to the DSPN.
He's given him. Oh, there you go. He was forward.
Oh, a punch up now in midfield. Fraser's involved.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the podcast, people. Martin, Devlin, Lachlan Waugh, the DSPN. Wherever you are listening or watching this podcast, welcome and thank you very much for supporting us. Be it on Rover, watching on Spotify video, Apple Podcast, the DSPN YouTube channel. Thank you so much. If you're enjoying what you're looking at and what you're listening to, tell somebody else about it. We put out content, 3 or 4 different things every single day. Click that subscribe button for us on the DSPN YouTube channel. It does help. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers quick as possible. Still buzzing after that just amazing win for the Wallabies on the high Veld Ellis Park against the Springboks on the weekend. We're all over that today. Tony Johnson from Sky Sport talking about the All Blacks versus Argentina and then breaking down his thoughts on why the Springboks came so unstuck like they did. And then Peter Fitzsimons, former Wallaby raconteur, author, writer for the Sydney Morning Herald for more than a couple of decades. He joins us as well, just lauding it. Australia are back, apparently. The greatest result, I reckon, that could have happened in international rugby. It just turns everything on its head. So leave us a comment as always. We appreciate every time that you do. Get in touch with us and we'll try and reply to as many as possible and do a mailbag section where we respond to your comments by commenting on your comments throughout the week. Let's kick it as we always do on the show with a big sermon from the mountaintop every day.
Marty Sermons, brought to you by WebWonks. Generate online leads with WebWonks. Doctors for your Google data.
We live in an amazing, amazing world, and it's wasted on the crappiest generation of just spoiled idiots.
Come on down, Australia. Let me stop and applaud. That was incredible. The most significant result in world rugby since, I believe, the 2015 World Cup when Japan beat the Springboks. I've deliberately waited another day to write anything about this because I wanted to know if I still felt the same 24 hours later, and that's shocked. Stunned by Australia's performance and that result. Here's the thing. It wasn't just a win. It's not like they sneaked a victory in the last minute or got away with it via a beneficial ref's call like the Lions in the second test of that series. Not at all. They smoked South Africa in their own backyard. They won at Ellis Park. The much vaunted back-to-back world champion Springboks. Wasted. And it wasn't some end-of-year tour tacked on promotional test where the Boks might claim they were experimenting or not as focused as they should have been. This was the Rugby Championship opener. This game meant something. It was important. The Aussies didn't just beat them, they busted their aura, and that's what's most important. I'll go on about that a little bit more in a second. That result, the manner of it, changes everything in world rugby. It says that this Springbok side is not the be-all and end-all at all. It says that maybe come Rugby World Cup 27, they might just be a little long in the tooth in some positions. It says their physicality isn't to be feared. It says they have glaring weaknesses there to be exposed and exploited. It says that Rassie Erasmus, the god king of rugby coaches, is actually fallible. He makes mistakes. He gets tactics wrong, selections wrong, game plans wrong. It says think again. Second guess everything from this point, and it says it can be done at their place in their face. You cannot underestimate in any way the importance of that win. The rugby world has been turned upside down. Forget the rankings, whatever they mean. The only real rankings happen every 4 years. We all know that. But it says emphatically, come World Cup in Australia, all bets are off. If the Aussies can put their best team out, they're as much of a threat now as we are. Ireland, France, the Poms and the Boks. Because you only have to beat that team one time during the tournament when it really counts. It's all up for grabs and all because of this one incredible, totally unexpected and in rugby terms earth-shattering result. Meanwhile, the All Blacks put a very handy 41-24 beatdown on Argentina. Flattering result in many aspects because we were never entirely convincing. Muddling kind of performance enhanced by a hell of a scoreline. We tend to always look at the All Blacks in terms of what we weren't, what we didn't do well, how we could have gone better here, all the things we got to improve on. That's the way that we look at the All Blacks. And there are many areas of obvious improvement. But overall, 6 tries to 3. When we needed to, we took back control of the game and secured a really good win at a hostile venue on the road. We did what South Africa couldn't do. How much of any of all of this counts come Eden Park in 3 weeks? Probably not that much. But in terms of winning this Rugby Championship, it's the perfect start for us. It's brilliant from Australia and a massive setback for South Africa. Because there goes the aura of invincibility. Gone. The Springboks are suddenly very beatable. That is the new world rugby reality.
Devlin.
It's Monday, Lachlan, which means we're going to play glass half full. It's actually kind of a tight 5 glass half full combined here. We've got 5 topics to talk about, and you can tell me whether or not
Glass half full.
you are when this guy yells. On to the next one we go. We're going to be talking about the All Blacks, the Springboks, the Wallabies, the top 4 of the NRL right now. Is that going to be the top 4 come season's end? And Chris Wood, hallelujah, 9 goals away he is from 100 Premier League goals. What a story that is going to be this year for him and for New Zealand sport. Glass half full.
Glass half full.
The All Blacks are number 1 in the world. Scott Robertson didn't know. The team didn't really know. I mean, these rankings are pretty meaningless, are they?
They change every week.
But where are you with the All Blacks right now? Glass half full, glass half empty.
The All Blacks or their ranking?
All Blacks and the ranking.
Well, glass half full about the ranking. Come on, they're number 1 in the world
Yeah,
for the first time
not to be
since
sneezed at.
2022.
And it also means that the great thing about this is actually for us All Black fans is that there's a guy on Twitter, a Bok fan, who every day puts up this thing, and I follow him because it just hurts me every day. Day number 1,140.
I know you're talking about. He works for the South African Planet Rugby, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's just every day he puts it up. This is, we're now day 1,200 of being number 1 in the world. Well, we were over 2,000. During that
For
period.
3,000, wasn't it?
Between whatever it was, 2010 and 4. So it's over. So you got to start again. So there we go.
Two things. The All Blacks were number 1 in the world from, I think, late 2009 right up until 2017.
So
2019.
Could have been 2019 or something like that.
I think 2019, like
About 10
early
years
2019.
or something, yeah.
We were either number 1 or 2 in the world from December 2003 until that semi-final loss to England in 2019. We dropped down to 3rd after that semi-final loss.
Okay.
16 years the All Blacks were 1 or 2 in the world. I don't think the Springboks have ever done that. That's the more incredible stat,
There
I
you
think.
go. So that is, our glass is overflowing being number 1 in the world.
But look, this is the thing. The All Blacks outside, you can back-to-back World Cups. I know we're going to get to the Springboks in a second. Back-to-back World Cups, it's about what you do in between the World Cups that really hammers home the immortality of a team. The All Blacks have done that for decades, where they are actually the best in the world outside of the World Cups. We obviously were known as the chokers for a while, whereas the Springboks kind of just don't take the test that seriously outside of the World Cup.
They do.
Well, do they? Because they just lost by 16 points.
They do now. Yes! Glass half full, glass half empty on the Springboks. I'll show you. Here we go. All right.
That's looking pretty empty.
No, it's just under half full, okay? That's where I am with them.
But the glass goes up, so there's actually more area at the top.
That says fallibility is what that result says. And, I'm guilty, I must admit, of being thinking that and building it up in my own...
I'm not, you are.
In my own head about how good the Springboks are, about how many players they've got, about their strength and depth, about the way that they play, about can we even get the ball off these guys. All of that is out the window now. They are beatable. Very beatable.
Okay. We knew this last year.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
We lost to them twice.
Okay. Go back to that first test at Ellis Park. We were all over them for 60 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that we should have won the match. From a New Zealand perspective, we should have. When you're up by, I think we were up by
came on and
10
us,
or 11 points. Yeah, but it was the last 20 minutes, and we just threw that game away. I remember there was a moment, nothing against it, but Sam Darry had the ball, and I think he just had to hold on to it.
Kenzie missed a kick. He should have
And I think Sam Darry knocked it on, and then they scored a try from there, which won the game, I think. The memory could be a bit cloudy there. But, and then there was the game at Cape Town where they weren't perfect. We weren't great.
We didn't score any points, mate.
No, yes, it was 18-12.
No, was it?
We didn't score any tries, is probably what you mean. I don't think they did either, actually. But, they lost to Ireland at home. They lost to Argentina. They haven't had a great build-up for this Rugby Championship. You go back to 2023. Geez, they couldn't even put us away when they had an extra man in the World Cup final. Look, South Africa are the best team in the world, okay? Until they lose a couple of tests, if we can beat them twice and then maybe they lose another one, I still think they're the best in the world. They've won the World Cup twice in a row, of course. However, they're not invincible.
No, obviously,
let's stop
clearly.
kidding ourselves,
Yeah, that's
okay?
it. Gone.
They haven't ever been
Gone.
invincible in this reign with Rusty Erasmus running the whole show.
Well, I'm
They
just
haven't
going to
been.
I'm just going to get my brain back and put it back in because obviously I was
There's-
mistaken.
You know, I don't quite buy into the whole the All Blacks need to win every test and should be winning every test, and if they don't, then it's a failure the way that you do. Only because I feel like things have changed in modern rugby. You know, other teams are great.
I don't accept it.
and we're not
I'm
as
never
good.
going to accept it.
But at the same time, geez, can't remember a time where we lost by 16 points at home to Australia when we were back-to-back World Cup
No,
winners.
when we were 22-0 up
this
after
stuff,
17 minutes.
You know, there was that test in Dunedin in 2017 where Australia were up 17-0, and then the same thing actually happened in 2023, I think it was.
Yeah, there was before the World Cup.
That was an afternoon game. But that one in 2017, where they were all over us, we still came back and won it and scored a winning try off a bit of a questionable pass from, I think, Kieran Reader was to Bowden Barrett. But anyway, we didn't lose these sorts of matches. Hey, we might not win a World Cup, or we might scrape our way to the final, but we wouldn't lose like that at home outside of a World Cup. It just didn't happen.
Glass half full about the Wallabies, glass half empty.
Oh, glass half full.
No, it's overflowing, isn't it?
I've,
Schmidt.
I've never wanted an Aussie team to win that much as they did on the weekend.
Ever.
It was great.
I mean, every single All Black fan was cheering that Wallabies win.
Of course.
The whole of world rugby was cheering that Wallabies win.
I don't think we don't hate the Wallabies the way that we hate the Australian cricketers,
No,
right?
because they don't deserve hate because they're not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, we hate the Australian cricketers because they kick our ass every time we play them.
Yeah.
But with the Wallabies, it's almost like you feel not a little bit sorry, but you kind of think, oh, okay, well, that's the Wallabies. We'll win these matches. Maybe not this year.
There's a hint of not patriotism, is that the right word? Like, there's only two of us down here in this part of the world. South Africa are ages away. The Northern Hemisphere are a bunch of dickheads. They think they run the show. But, they're kind of our brothers. So when they go on the road and
play the Yarpies.
well, we want them to win.
Yeah.
Like if they're playing England, you want
Of
Australia
course,
to win.
yeah, no
if
question.
they're playing Ireland and Scotland and well, maybe not Wales, but Ireland and Scotland, at least Ireland for me right now, I'd rather the Wallabies win.
Yeah.
So, no, they're great.
Probably want Scotland to beat them.
Great performance, and the way their backs just tore apart the Springbok defence. The Springboks in the second half just had no answers.
I just love
had
watching
no
those
answers.
huge, big Springbok backs who are all the size of old school locks. All of a sudden, some little wee nippy guy just basically sat them on their bum. I mean, it was just
Max
brilliant to watch.
Jorgensen and Tom Wright, they both looked a little bit unco when they were doing it, trying to sort of step around the Springbok fullback, but they just kind of went around with ease when they scored their tries.
Amazing what electric pace does in a game of rugby, eh? Yes! Glass half full, glass half empty on the NRL table. Top four staying the way that it is. This is the way it is at the moment. Raiders 40, Storm 38,
Yes.
Dogs 36,
Yes.
Waz 32, Penrith 31, Broncos Sharks 30. Next lot of stats you need. This weekend's games. Panthers, Raiders, Storm, Dogs.
That's on Friday, isn't it?
So you've got teams dropping points there. Sharks get a bye, so they've already got 2, so they go to 32 straight away. Warriors have got the Titans, Broncos away Knights. Now the Titans game
Banana skin.
came, should have been beaten at Go Media Mount Smart, didn't. But I think this Titans team now, after losing on the weekend and watching them on they're gone, mate. They've got nothing to play for now. It's not Dez's 500 game.
Stop
They're
it.
gone.
You
This
said
is
that.
a bank at
You've
2
got
points.
to stop doing this.
This is a
You
bank
did,
at 2
You
points.
did this 3 or 4 weeks ago when the Titans came here. You said, it's a bank at 2 points. You've said this about the entire
I'll
Warriors
get it right
schedule.
sometime. I'll get it right this weekend.
You can't. What you've got to do is just say they have to win. Do what you did last week. You said this about the Dragons. They just got to win. Don't talk about it. They will. Or don't talk about the Titans are a rollover. The Titans are the Warriors' bogey side.
I'll tell you right now.
Stop getting
that
ahead
top four
of
is
Stop
staying
getting
top
ahead of
four now.
yourself.
That top four is
you
top four.
and other Warriors fans need to stop
Top
getting
four.
ahead of yourselves.
We're going to win 2 out of the next 3 games, at least.
Stop it. Take it
Titans,
one game at a time.
Eels.
At a time. All that matters is that you beat the Titans. Will you? Who bloody knows?
Yes.
But you've just got to hope that you do.
Glass half full that top 4 stays as it is. I'm rampant on this.
Can I say, the Warriors have had, maybe not the easiest by the numbers and the stats, but my goodness, one of the easiest run-ins to the finals out of any one of the top 8 sides in the comp. And what has happened? They have won 3 of their last 8.
Yes.
And all 3 of those wins, even that Tigers win at Mount Smart, were pretty ordinary.
Okay, they were pretty ordinary against St George, I must admit, but got the 2 points, got it done. That's all you got to do at this time. Hopefully it's
your
actually...
tune's changed.
Well, hopefully it's just rearranged a bit of confidence. I thought they were down on confidence. There wasn't a team that was happy. Right, that team, normally with the Warriors, they're all laughing, they're carrying on. Mate, they're a pretty quiet, subdued
Good,
bunch.
because that wasn't a great win.
It wasn't,
I mean,
it was
a win's
a great win.
Look, a win's a
Wasn't a great
win,
performance.
and it gets you back into the top 4. Now you control your destiny again.
Okay, we agree on this. So it's glass half full on that. Top 4 staying top 4.
No, not at all. I think Penrith will get back in there. I think so the Storm, Raiders and Dogs games that the Panthers have in a row, I I only think they're dropping one of them, and they've dropped one of them. So I think they beat the Raiders and they beat the Dogs.
Finally, then, glass half full. There's not even there. I mean, there's no point even saying empty in terms of Chris Wood, who has just scored his 90th and 91st goals for Nottingham Forest in the English Premier League. Now, we have mentioned this over the last season or two, and especially last year as he got well over 80 and started getting closer and closer to 100. This is going to be one of the greatest New Zealand sports stories ever. This is gold medal at the Olympics. This is Hamish Kerr winning the high jump. This is the kind of rarefied air that this guy is going to play in now. When he gets to 100 Premier League goals, which he will, hopefully by Christmas, but it may take until January, February. We don't know, right? But he normally averages in double figures every year he plays in the Premier League. An amazing story. I mean, he's legit, Chris Wood. He got 20 goals last year for Nottingham Forest. He's absolutely legit. And he banged in 2 opening day for Forest this morning.
And opening weekend. And
Brilliant.
I think he's had quite a strange redemption arc, because I think a lot of people would agree, a lot of football fans, that when he was at Burnley and then he got, I think, sold to Newcastle when Newcastle were bought by the Saudi Arabian owners, and they were just buying all of these squad players to just give themselves some depth.
It never looked as though he had a place in that Newcastle team,
Well,
did it?
that felt like it was the downward sort of trend starting, and then he goes to Forest and he's had a couple of really good years.
Yeah, he's scored over 20 Premier League goals last year.
You think of the
25
players,
or 6 or something.
you think of the players who haven't gotten 100 goals, and the great strikers who have played in the Premier League who haven't gotten to that point. Now,
Van Nistelrooy never got 100
Now, part of
goals.
it's longevity,
Yeah.
of course. You know, Chris Wood's been around a long time. You get someone like Luis Suarez, who was only in the league for 4 years, but it's an incredible achievement, and the guys that he's got to join.
I think there's only 30-something on the list or something that he's going to join.
So he's one of 30-something players
on the planet.
In one of the biggest leagues in the world, without a doubt the biggest and best football league in the world, and he's going to be one of 30-something players on the planet to get 100 goals. A Kiwi doing it. It feels a bit weird.
And we're number 1 in the world in rugby again. Eat that, Saffers.
This is the DSPN.